Practicing law.
I did something risky when I came out of law school. What I did was I opened up my own law practice. And, I didn't know anything about that. All I knew is I was practicing law in an area where my father was a judge. And I thought that, this is what I wanted to do, is to have my own law practice. I had a general practice of law, but it was kind of weird because there were lots of things I wouldn't do. I didn't handle estates. I didn't do taxes. I didn't even do very many wills and that sort of thing. I certainly wasn't incorporating anyone or drawing up partnership agreements. Instead, what I did was I represented people before tribunals. That's what I wanted to do. So whether it was criminal defense, whether it was family law, I was going to court. And whether it was Social Security Administration, whether it was a DMV hearing, whether it was going down to city court, whatever it was going to be, I was representing people and going to court.
Lawyers and money.
One of the interesting things that I found out about the practice of law is how it's inextricably tied to money. And let me explain this. I would always say that I'd be twice the lawyer if I had half the clients paying twice the amount of money. Now think about that for a second. What can happen to you as a lawyer is you get spread too thin. It's like butter over toast. You got too many clients, and you've got only a certain amount of time in this file, a certain amount of time in that file, a certain amount of time in that file. If you could get half the files and the same amount of fees, then you could put twice the amount of work into each client's file. And putting twice the amount of work would make your lawyering better. And in there is a very interesting lesson about the way the legal profession works. To have a successful practice of law or a successful career in law generally means that you have to be servicing rich clients. Now that's a cynical thing to say, but I will tell you there's a lot of truth in it. A lot of these law firms service the corporate sector. You'll find a lot of these plaintiffs firms are trying to get big verdicts against these insurance companies, and this is because there's money in that. If you're just out there representing people on regular stuff, charged with a DUI, someone wants a divorce, it's actually a very challenging way to go about the practice.
What was your expertise?
Basically, my practice was pretty concentrated in two areas, criminal defense and domestic relations. I did not like the domestic relations transactions because the rule of thumb in divorce court is when both sides are unhappy, then that's a fair result. Well, think about what it would be like to have a practice of law where the clients are paying you an hourly rate only to get things that they're half unhappy about. The clients really don't want to pay you, and usually something where they're not 100% satisfied or happy with the result, because that's the way that transaction works. Also, if you try to tell them things that are within their interest, for example, that they should cooperate, lower their legal fees, give ground, etc., they think that you're selling them out. That's the other thing. So it's kind of a difficult transaction. Most lawyers really don't like practicing family law. When they start off their career, sometimes they have to take family law cases, and they hope to graduate from that and get out of it, where their practice is sustainable, that they don't have to have those cases anymore. But I would tell you the one legal transaction that I really, really, really liked was criminal law. Criminal defense was fun, and I still miss criminal defense to this day. That was a nice structured setup, and oftentimes the state would be paying for you to represent the defendant in a situation where the defendant couldn't afford representation. And even where you had private clients paying you, they were happy because you generally I could get them value for the service. I could do a lot of good work and help them out, and they were grateful for that. So they liked that when they were paying, they were getting something. And so the criminal defense work, I got along better with my felons than I did my divorce clients, to be honest with you.
How long did you practice law?
I practiced for about 10 years. Some of that I was in graduate school getting my PhD, so there's an overlap. I was practicing for about 5 or 6 years, and then I was getting my PhD and winding up my practice. I was doing both. I was being a lawyer and going to graduate school. I basically went to graduate school because I had it with being a lawyer. I had it with trying to run my own business. I had it with trying to run my own practice. I wanted to go to graduate school because I very much liked ideas, and I wanted to work with scholarship. I very much missed what it was like to be in college, where ideas were what mattered. If you like ideas, you really belong in graduate school. If you like stress and detail, you should go to law school.